Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we'll be building a basic dashboard application using whatever knowledge we want learned so far. Obviously, this bar graph and the table will not be there, right? Because this is not taught so far. But we'll be trying to build this dashboard thing, right? So clicking on this will change the page, right? And the pop-up thing also we'll be learning later. But we can uh, implement that very easily, right? All this stuff here we can implement this. So let's get started building the dashboard thing. So if you see, there is two part, the sidebar and the actual page. So this is a row layout, right? So this is the left and this is the right part. This is the right and the sidebar is the left. So row layout. So for that, let's first do a row layout. Anchors dot fill parent, spacing is 0, and the first item is the left sidebar. The second item is the right page, which will vary, right? It will vary based on the selected item in the sidebar, right? So for now, let's work with the sidebar. I'll create a page and I'll call it a sidebar page, and let's set the width of the page to, let's say, 0.3 multiplied by window dot width, or you can set it to root dot width. So this is 30% of the total width of the application. Height will obviously be root dot height, or instead of root you can also use parent, because by default anyway the row layout is saying anchors dot fill parent. But beware, because this is inside layout, so this will be layout dot preferred width and layout dot preferred height, because this is inside the layout. I think I added extra space, but anyway, yeah, because this is inside the layout, so layout dot preferred width and preferred height, right? Now forget about the right side part. Let's focus only on the left side, or for now, let's say the right side will be simply page, and it will be right page, and I'll say layout dot fill width true, layout dot fill height true, and the color of the page, so let's say background rectangle, and the color will be #101010. That is the color of my this right side. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see, the page left side is white in color because I have not provided any background, but you can see the proportions. So 30% is not good enough. Let's change this to 40% and also increase the width from 600 to 900. So this application is wide enough. Excuse me. Now this is too large, so revert back to 30%. I think this is good enough, right? So the color is hurting me, so let's change back the color. So I'll say for the page, the background will be rectangle and the color will be this one. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, this color matches and this right side color also matches, right? So let's work with this. First of all, forget about this icon thing. Let's only work with these things, right? Or let's keep an icon, but we'll shrink it later. For now, let's keep it open. So this is an icon, this is the text, and this is another icon, and this is the header, right? So this is the header and this is the footer. So for a page, you know, there is something called header and there is something called footer, right? You know that because in the last video we talked about the header and the footer component for a page, right? So let's add a header. I'll say header will be a rectangle, and I'll say height for the header will be, let's say 60. Width simply parent dot width, and the color of the rectangle will be simply transparent or not transparent. Let's say parent dot or just let's select this color only. Now it's another rectangle thing. Let's do one thing. Let's first add the image, right? Which is basically a row layout. So if you see properly, it's a row layout. I'll show you what I'm doing, right? So let me show you. This is a row layout where this is the first item, this is the second item, and this icon is the third item. So this is row layout. Anchors dot, let's say width, period dot width, anchors dot horizontal center, sorry, vertical center, period dot vertical center. So this is the center vertically, right? So this is the full width, it's in the middle, right? So spacing, let's say 0, or let's say 5. The first, I hope you're getting me right. If this is the full header, this is in the vertical center, which is what I did. Now let's say anchors dot left, parent dot left, anchors dot right, parent dot right, anchors dot left margin 15, anchors dot right margin 15. So now there is some margin, this padding thing here and here, right? So after that, let's work with the icon. Obviously you can group these things together, but now I'm just not like, right now I'm not just wondering about code clarity and all this stuff. We'll be grouping them later, right? So now for now, image. Now because this is inside the layout, I'll say layout dot preferred width of, let's say 20, layout dot preferred height of, let's say 20, source. I've already added an image here, right? This image, which is called logo.png. So I'll copy this URL and paste it here. Make sure that set CMake auto RCC on, right? Also I'll say fill mode, image.preserve aspect fit, and after the image we'll have a label. So for the label I'll say layout dot alignment q dot align v center, vertical center, and the text will be let's say my company name, classify, and font dot point size 14, font dot width, font dot demi bold, and color of the label will be simply white as it is by default. Now I'll set an item here. I'll say layout dot fill with true to push the other item to the extreme right, right? So after this, whatever item is there, it will be pushed to the extreme right, right? So here I can have any image I want. Let's add another image to my repository. Let's add this plane image, right? Airplane image, plane.png file. Let's add that. So I'll right click here, add existing file, plane, copy URL. You know, I can just do this. I can just copy this thing here, and instead of logo.png, it will be plane.png. Let's see if this works so far. As you can see, it worked properly. This is the vertical center. So header, if I give the color to the header, right? If I give this rectangles the other color, let's say red, you will be able to see that the image, the text are in the vertical center, right? Let's give the color red and see. If you see this image, the text and the airplane image, they are in the vertical center, right? So that's why for the row layout, I gave some margins, I give the vertical center. Now for the image, we added an image. For the label, we added a label, and this fill with true, this thing, this layout fill with true, this will push the airplane image to the extreme right. So let me revert back the color. So for the image, let's increase the width 32. Font size will be 16. Again, 32. This time it will be more visible, I guess. Yeah, I think this is visible now. Obviously, forget the images, right? It will look bad. For now, just ignore the images. Like I just gave some random image I threw randomly. That is not very important right now. What's important is that we have successfully created the header and all this stuff, right? Yeah. Now we are done with the header part, right? We can obviously add the let me reload the application once. Yeah, this pointing hand cursor thing we can also add for the image, right? So let's forget that. Let's for now fill with the list, sidebar list, right? So for sidebar list, let's start from here. Let's give it some gap. So if you increase the header height, automatically you will see there is some gap, right? Because the image and all will be the center. So as you can see, it's in the center. So there is some gap here, right? I think this looks bad. I think it's better at 70. So we are now done with the header part. Now we can do two things, one of two things, right? We can either complete the footer or the items. So let's complete the items now, right? The actual items. So the items will be basically a list view. I'll call them sidebar list view. Now uh, let's say anchors dot fill parent, because this will fill the entire parent minus the header height, and if you add the footer height, so it will fill all the page minus the header height and the footer height, right? So I say anchors dot fill parent and spacing between the list item of let's say 20, right? Now if you remember, a list has two things, a model and a delegate. So we'll be providing the model and we also will be providing the delegate. So for now, let's first create a model. So I'll say list model. Now let's call it my sidebar list model. List element. Let's say name dashboard and okay, 1 minute. So let's have one more. So we have dashboard collection statistics collection statistics posts by posts and admin panel. I think these are good enough, right? We can also have an image here, right? So icon or image, something we can add. So we'll add that later. First, let's finish the basic thing. After that, we'll be adding the image and all this stuff, right? So we are done with the model. So for the list view, I'll say the model is sidebar list model. Now the delegate, right? So for that, I'll say component ID sidebar list delegate, and the delegate will be basically a rectangle. Sorry. So I'll say anchors dot left sidebar list view dot left anchors. Okay, let's just group this properly. Right, sidebar list view dot right, left margin of let's say 15, right margin. I hope you're getting what I'm doing, right? I am just adding margin to the left and right for some padding. Okay, so we are done with the rectangle thing. Radius will be let's say 10, And for now, let's add a color of so that is at least visible. So we'll add a color of blue and a random text of, let's say, uh, okay, the text we can provide from the model itself, right? So we'll say required property string name, because we are being provided this name thing here, right? So we'll say required property string name, and the text will be just the name. Font dot point size 14, anchors dot center in parent, and the delegate now will be sidebar list delegate. Let's see if this works properly. Okay, cannot anchor to an item that isn't a parent. Okay, I got it. I got it. The issue is this component is created runtime, so this anchoring thing won't work properly, right? With the sidebar list view thing. So we can do for sidebar page. I'll show you what the issue is, because this is created runtime. So these are QT is thinking these are siblings because they are just one below the other. So I think instead of list view, the page ID should work properly now. Okay, it's not. Wow. So this is also not working properly. So I guess we cannot use anchors here. We have to set width to parent dot width. But there will be the issue here. The issue is the padding issue, right? Yeah, as you can see, there is some. We also have to give some height to the rectangle. Height of, let's say, 40 will be good enough. And as you can see, this height fixed the issue. But as you can see, this is sticking to the edges. So for that, what we can do is we can say anchors dot left margin 20 for the list view itself. Anchors dot right margin 20, and so now it will be sticking to the list view, but list view itself has some margins. So yeah, now if you see, this is working fine. Obviously we should also give some top margin. So anchors dot top margin of, let's say, 50. Now I think this is good enough. Now obviously all the color and all this stuff has to be modified, right? So for now, let's fix this. Font size 70, color white, font dot weight, font dot demi bold. Let's see. So this is too bright in my eyes. So instead of demi bold, it will be font dot normal, and font size is also too large. It will be 15, or I think 14 is good enough. And instead of center in, it will simply be vertical center. Parent. Let's do this. Parent dot vertical center. Anchors dot left, parent dot left, and anchors dot left margin will be, let's say, 10. So there is some gap from the left side, and it's in the center vertically. As you can see, this medium. Come on, man, I think demi bold is the only option, and margin will also be 20. Yeah, I think this is the only good option here. The color is very bad. Other than that, I think this is decent enough. So we'll be fixing the colors, right? We'll be fixing the colors. let's fix the colors for now. So by default, this is selected and these are all not selected, right? So this is not, so let's say color will be, we also get a property called index, right? Required property index. So the color will be, if index equals 0, then the color will be this blue color. So let's see what the blue color is. 0 means first item. I hope you got that. So this is the color. Otherwise it will be simply black. This one. So now let's see. As you can see, pretty decent enough, right? So also there is too much spacing here. So let's remove the spacing from 20 to 10. Yeah, I think this is good enough, right? So as you can see, the first item is highlighted, the others are not, but on hovering nothing happens here, right? So we have to fix that. To fix that issue, what we can do is we can add a mouse area here, because rectangle itself does not have any hovering. So we can say mouse area id sidebar item mouse area hover enabled true. Now if index is 0, then it will always be blue. Otherwise, if mouse area dot contains mouse, that means the user is hovering. If that is true, then change the color to gray. Otherwise this. Now what is the gray color? Let's see here. Let's see what the gray color is, right? Okay, I have to use color picker here, guys. Okay, never mind. I mean, we can add any other color, right? We can also use q dot lighter. So let's do that. Why even bother? So I'll say q dot lighter, and we'll give this color itself what we think, and we'll make it light by 20%. So 1.2 means 20% lighter than this color. So now it will be very light. Let's see. Okay, so why is it not working? Let's change this to 1. Okay. Anchors dot fill parent. I forgot to do that. I have to fill this mouse area with the parent. Like fill the parent with the mouse area. Sorry. Now it should work. As you can see, it's very light, but it has to be more lighter. So I'll say 1.5. By default, it's 1.5. So you can remove the number also. But for customization, we can change the stuff. As you can see, this is working properly now. But two things. First of all, change the cursor. So I'll say cursor shape q dot pointing hand cursor. And second thing, add a behavior on color. Uh, how much number animation can we do? Duration 1000 is good enough. Man. Yeah. Number animation duration 1000 is good enough. So when color changes, transition happens for 1 second. What the? Okay, so it will not be number animation. Sorry, it will be color animation. Sorry, my bad, guys. Color animation. Now it will work properly. As you can see, it's very delayed. That is not a good thing. So 300. And that's why I was trying to find what color they chose. But yeah, 300 I think would be good enough, right? Yeah, 300 is a good enough color, right? So as you can see, I hope this selection thing is visible, right? So if I hover, the selection changes. Now, if I click on it and nothing happens, so let's do one thing. Let's add a property. Uh, or let's see a selected index property here. If there is a property called current index. So current index holds which index. So by default this is -1. So let's do this. Like by default, let's set the current index is 0. So first element will be selected. So now we can, instead of this index, we can say if index equals current index, then highlight this. Okay, so sidebar list view dot current index, my bad. Because this is sidebar list view, this is list views property. But even if you click now, nothing happens. So for that we have to handle the on click signal here. So we have to say on clicked sidebar list view dot current index equal to index. Now what is this index? This is this delegates index, right? This thing. So we are changing the current index of the list view. You will get me, right? It's very simple. Like, so if you see, we are just changing the index. So for example, let's say this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So when you click here, what will happen is current index is now 2. When you click here, you are setting current index to 4. So the fourth item, this property will become true, right? The index will be 4 and this will also be 4. So the fourth item will be blue, the other will be gray in color, right? I hope you got my point. So only the current index will be blue in color, the other will be hover color and all this stuff. So I hope you got my point, right? This is one way. Now let's also do one thing. For the page, let's add a text. Anchors are centered in parent. And the text will be nothing but sidebar list view dot current index. And font dot point size 15, color white. Let's see. This is the right side page. Obviously, we'll be changing the right side page anyway. So this is 0, 1, 2, and all this stuff, right? So not very fancy. We can also set instead of simply setting this text here, we can do is sidebar list model dot get. There is a get method. So this is the model. If I want the name of the fourth, right? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I want the third name, what I can do is I can say sidebar list model dot get 3 dot name, right? So if you say get 3, you will get the list element, and for the element's name you have to say dot name, right? So we'll be doing exactly that. So I'll say dot get. Now what is the current index? The sidebar list view dot index, right? So you got the current index, and this get method will give you the list element, and for the name property you have to say dot name. Now let's see. yeah, as you can see, this will not change as it is. So what you have to do is on current index changed, every time the current index changes, you'll say, I know this is very complicated, but don't worry. Write write paste text dot text equals, because this is the write paste text component and this is the property. This will be this. Actually, I think I made a mistake here. It will be current index, not just index. I think now it should work properly. Yeah, now it will work properly, right? Yeah. My bad, guys. I wrote index by default, but it will be current index. Now this is working properly. Let me tell you all the things that happened so far, right? Don't overcomplicate. Very simple thing. A model, a view, a delegate. Delegate thing is very clear, right? We are setting the current index and all the color and all this stuff. Now, for the view, this thing changes, right? This is basically the selected thing, the selected index, right? So this value changes each time we click, right? Now, if we want this statistics value, right? So let's say there are two properties. One is age of 30 or 40, right? So if I want this value, what I can say is sidebar list model dot get 0, 1, 2. So get 2. So now you will be getting this list element. If you want the age property, I'll say dot age. So this is what we did there, right? Here we did exactly that, right? So this was the delegate. Here we give the index by default. I hope you remember about the delegate. We get index property here, right? And the name property we are getting from here. If this was, there was another thing called age, let's say 30. So you can also set required property int age, right? So yeah, that was that. So now this is one more thing is left. The footer component is left, right? So for footer, let's do the footer right now. It's copy paste of the header component, right? Just copy paste, or no need for copy pasting. Let's do it on our own. Footer, also rectangle. Here I'll say height of, let's say the height of 100, and just a minute, guys. Let me think for a bit. Item of, or not item, inside that also another rectangle of anchors dot left, parent dot left, right, parent dot right, margins. So left margin of, let's say 15, right margin of, let's say 15, and vertical center, parent dot vertical center. Now the height of the rectangle will be, let's say 40. Color will be let's say blue. So what was the color for the delegate? This one, 561. So this blue color. Inside this there will be a text component. Again copy paste the text from here. Instead of name it will be plus add item, and let's see. As you can see, it should have been more rounded, and also the background thing, right? So for this rectangle also, the color you can also set transparent, and this rectangle should also have a radius of, let's say, 10. Let's see now. Yeah, as you can see, the add item thing is happening here. The obviously the hovering, the color should be better, right? So again, we can add a mouse area here, and we can say footer mouse area. Hover enabled true. Hover enabled true. Footer mouse area dot contains mouse. Then cute dot lighter. This color 1.2. Otherwise this color. Now you'll see if you hover over it, a very light color. Yeah, as you can see, obviously you can add uh, behavior on color, color animation, duration only 300 millisecond. Instead of 1.2 it will be 1.1, and not lighter but darker. So I think, yeah, now I think this will be better. Yeah, as you can see, it's a bit darker now. If it's not visible, you can just obviously change the value to it's more dark. Excuse me. Yeah, as you can see, this is working fine. Obviously, we can add a cursor, like cursor shape, q dot pointing hand cursor. As you can see, this is working fine. I'll be obviously like downloading all the icons and all this stuff in the next video, but it's very simple. Instead of text, it will be row layout, and first will be image, then will be the text. Very simple, right? But I hope you got the gist of all the things which I wanted to show you. This could also be changed with stack view, but anyway, both works fine. Obviously, we'll be implementing stack view next. So, but yeah, a basic dashboard and how it works. So I think this is too much for today's video. Let's continue with the dashboard thing in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.